So, Dialla,
Yes.
who are you?
Who am I? So, in my personal life, I'm just plain old Dialla, animal loving, loves watching her YouTube, dancing, loud extrovert. But then when it comes to work, I am a multi award winning entrepreneur, investor, and coach. And I founded King of Paws. I grew up in the tobacco field, and I'm currently working on other ventures.
Wow, it's so funny how someone with such a high status can have such a normal life. Like, whenever I think of someone that's up there, I'm like, they must be out there on private yachts and jets and just dancing on the top of, you know, whatever. But
Oh no, I'm the girl that's in like shopping centers or something, and the music's playing in the store, and her mum's just like, "Dial, stop it!" And I'm like, "I can't. Such a good song."
oh, I love
Constantly
that.
dancing. Can't dance. I love it. I have fun.
It really speaks to the idea of you never know who is around you and what they're all about until you actually have a
Oh,
chat with them. Obviously, not everything has been all sunshine and rainbows. Everyone's got like a bit of a background. And
yeah, for
what
sure.
was an element that really spoke to you when you were growing up?
The way this all happened was 10 months ago. I wasn't supposed to be like where I am right now. And unfortunately, 2 months ago, with all the success that you guys and the world all sees, I lost my best friend and the reason for my whole business venture, which was my little Maltese Shih Tzu dog, Peekaboo. So I have been going through ups and downs. Yes, there may be a lot of fun things happening and growing the business, but me as a whole, as Diala, I've lost a part of me that I probably will never recover from, which was my dog Peekaboo and the reason why I am who I am and what I've become today.
I grew up with Maltese Shih Tzus.
Oh,
I know what little balls of light and just love they can be. So, oh my goodness.
yeah. He was a 6 kilo little fluff ball.
And when did you first get Pickaboo?
I got Peekaboo when I was 16 as a not a dare, but kind of like a dare. Do you want to hear the story?
I would love to hear the story, please.
Okay, so I was really good in school in the sense of trying her hardest, doing her best, but was I an A plus student in maths or science? No. I didn't like maths. I was always so distracted. Like it's just not for me. Business, English, I love reading. That was it. So one day, just before my 16th birthday, my parents, specifically my father, goes to me, if you start doing really well at maths, we'll get you whatever you want. And in our house, if someone says promise, it's like religious to us. So it's like
Done deal.
a promise is like we've never broken a promise. And I said, "Do you pinky promise?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, so if I do really well at maths, I want a dog." And he's like, "Okay, deal, promise." And my mum just shot him the look like, "Are you okay? Like, what are you promising her? A dog?" Like, there's no way. My mum has like a fear of dogs. And then I said, "Okay, done." Within like a week, I became a genius at maths. I was acing all my tests in class. The teacher was like, "What happened to these skills?" I became like a walking calculator basically for maths. And I went home and I said, "There you go, I want a dog." And he was shocked. He's like, "It took us to bribe you in order for you to do well at maths." And behold, he then put me in the car with my sister and mum and went and spent one weekend. And back in the days, it was where you can buy dogs in shopping centres. We're talking about almost 15 years ago. So we went to the first one, which is Living Jungle Faulkner, a local pet store in the northern suburbs of Melbourne. And the lady goes, "You want a boy or a girl?" And I'm just like, "Oh, I want a little boy dog." And she's like, "Okay." And the first dog she hands me was Peekaboo, and he had a sibling, which was a sister as well. From there, we put him back into the glass thing, and My dad and mum are like, okay, let's not just settle for the first one you see. Let's drive around to other stores. At this point, mum's like, all right, maybe she'll forget. We went shopping to like three different shopping centers that day. I want this dog. Like, I don't know what it was. We just had a connection. And then on the way home, we actually ended up stopping and my parents bought me Peekaboo. And that's how I got him because I was literally challenged by my parents on a test at school to do well in maths. And so until now, my dad's like, it took Peekaboo to get you into maths. So he's affected my life from day dot.
Wow. And what was it about a dog or just any pet that really drove you?
I've always loved dogs, watching movies and stuff like as a young kid, like on Disney, Cartoon Network, 90s baby here. And I would always say, like, I want a dog, I want a dog. My uncle had a little Maltese Shih Tzu growing up, and I've always just said that if I ever got a dog, I want a little white Maltese Shih Tzu. And fun fact, when I got Peekaboo, he wasn't a white Maltese Shih Tzu. He was a Maltese Shih Tzu trio. So he was completely black with a bit of brown on his back. And it wasn't till like a baby when you cut them their first haircut, all of his color went and he became
Oh,
white.
wow.
And only his ears were black.
Was that a shock for you?
Yeah, it was a big shock because I was so young, so I was still in school, and it was his first groom and our first family dog. We don't know anything. So my dad took him to the local pet store and they had a groomer and they said, how do you want to cut him? He's got no idea. I'm in school and I come home and I went from a fluff ball to he looked like a little drowned rat and I just started crying. And
Oh.
I'm like, who is this? And he's like, oh, it's Pico. I'm like, what have you done? Like you can see him. Ever since then, I took him grooming.
So you've obviously gone on a lot of adventures with him since
Yes.
then. What would you say was the most exciting adventure that you would have had with him?
We're talking about 15 years. With Peekaboo, I know you're asking about a specific thing, but he saw me graduate high school. He saw me graduate uni, my first car, first love, first heartbreaks, first business, first job. He's been there in every single milestone of my life, whether they're really small or really big. He's outlived like family members, grandparents, COVID. He survived COVID. So he even lived through a pandemic. Like he was so strong. But I think for me, the most one that was recent that a bit hurt was I knew inside of me that when we turned 3 years old for King of Paws this year in Jan, I had a gut feeling that this would be his last time ever. So this year for our birthday, we did something that we've never done. Usually we hold birthday parties for the community and invite them to come and eat and stuff. Except this year, instead of doing that, we did a all money from the proceeds of food and drinks. We held a massive barbecue for the community and we donated it to a charity from like us and Peekaboo. So it was great. So I think it's having him at our last King of Paws birthday.
What was it that made you feel like it was going to be the last one? Was there anything you could explain, or?
Peekaboo is a well was and is I know he's somewhere over the rainbow. He's a warrior because when Peekaboo was born at 6 weeks, a couple of months later, they told us he was either going to be put down or his leg was going to be amputated. He caught a really bad disease similar to a cancer in his leg. And instead of amputating it, he underwent massive surgery. So that was his first surgery. Since then, Peekaboo had his tonsils removed, as weird as that sounds. He's done sinus surgeries. As he got older, he developed arthritis, and towards the end of his life, he had cancer at the age of 10 in his eye, so we got that removed. He had heart murmur, Cushing's disease, and collapsing trachea. So towards the end of life, his cancer just started spreading, and he would fight it and fight it, and he was too old for chemo, too old to go under like surgery at this point. And like a newborn, I was 24-hour caring for him. So I'd wake up in the morning, feed, drink tablets at night, feed, drink tablets, and then even throughout the night, I wasn't sleeping, which it was totally fine with me, but I would sleep an hour or two a night where I physically had to go to the doctor because I started becoming like a walking zombie because he was so, so sick. And I still would say, but I owe him. Like, because of him, I am who I am today. And I'll never forget that. So it's just like when an older person gets older, you don't just give up on them. They used to take care of you once as a child. So I knew I had to fight every bit of me for him and keep going until I knew from him that it was like he was done. And it was probably the hardest day of my life, and it was February 22nd this year that he passed away. Yeah.
I can't believe that someone could have gone through so much, both yourself and Pickaboo.
Sometimes it hurts when people are like he lived the best life, like it's okay he passed away, and it's not. But in a way, I also think I really did give him the best life. There was nothing on this earth I wouldn't have done for this dog. So everything under the sun we did till the last breath of his, and even then we made sure we tried to honor him in the best way possible.
What would you say would be one thing you wish he knew or understood about you, either recently or growing up? What is there something that you wish he knew?
Yeah, I just wish Peekaboo knew or understood how much he saved me growing up, whether it was depression or anxiety, loneliness, when I was down or going through things in life. He was always there more than anyone. I know I had parents and siblings and family members and friends, but Peekaboo was the one that I would see the first thing in the morning and the last thing at night. So for me, it goes beyond. I never saw him as like just a dog. To me, he was literally like my son. Like he was the first tattoo. Like I've got his name tattooed on my arm right here, and I have Peekaboo around my neck. So he's with me when I'm traveling, even though most of him's in my bedroom. But for me, Peekaboo was never just an animal or a dog. He was my home. He was my safety. He was when I was having severe anxiety. It wasn't someone that was going to answer back. He was just always there. And one thing with animals compare to like humans, no matter what you do, they'll always love you more than themselves. Like they are beyond loyal, no matter how many times I traveled for work or I wasn't there, he was still there. Like like if you look at the way dogs treat their owners, they like literally worship them. And all you do is like the most small things for them, which is like feed them water, play with them. So Peekaboo to me he was a really big part. He became part of my identity, really.
Yeah, just the way that you were speaking about him earlier, I, and even before this
Yeah.
podcast, I wasn't sure how to refer to him, whether it was just an animal or a pet or
No,
just
he
the name.
is. Well, he is a dog. He is an animal, but he just left a mark, not even just on myself, on my friends, my cousins, and he's got a whole community that he brought together.
What would you say was if there was a moment or a time where if he wasn't around, you don't know how you would have coped, what would it be?
When I was like younger and I was really, really depressed, or if I ever wanted to do something wrong, I always used to think if something happened to me, this dog would wonder, where is she at the end of the night if I never came back home? So I would always think, yeah, my parents would be there or my sibling, but in the end, he's mine. Like, I'm his mummy. So I never wanted him to think I just left him. So if someone ever offered me to do anything or if I wanted to make a not a smart choice, believe it or not, beyond like the way we're raised or our parents or something, for me, it was him that I never want him to think I just abandoned or left him. So it's always like, oh my gosh, but if something happened to me, what's going to happen to Peekaboo? You know? So he played a big part in my life, really.
So the reason why I asked that was there are going to be people who think, oh, why would I get an animal? Or they're just a waste of money or a waste of
Yeah.
space. For any of the parents that might be listening, why should a parent or someone get an animal for their child?
Let's talk realistic right now. Growing up, he teaches dogs can teach your kids responsibility. They become one of their best friends. It completes the home. They have a friend with them 24/7. It teaches them how to feed them, wash them, how to care for people other than themselves. But then when you want to look at the challenges, I don't ever say like it's a setback having a pet, just like it's not a setback to have a child or a family member or an elderly person. There's still a form of soul that feel that need to eat, breathe. I would say the challenge was when I had to go away for work, but then there was also things out there these days that there were like amazing luxury pet hotels available where my dog Peekaboo would stay at. And he had a personal chef and he had a TV all day playing. I would call and check up. So, and here they would shower him, take him for walks. They're associated with vets and hospitals. So there are also ways around things if you're not able to do it. I just think the biggest challenge of all is knowing that one day they're going to leave us and that they don't live a long time. And that would probably be one of the biggest heartbreaks of a person's life. But it's also the most rewarding thing to know that you had them part of your life.
I'm just so with a lot of parents, they might be thinking of the benefits that you shared around teaching resilience, maturity, and responsibility. Some parents might be thinking, oh, I can do that. I teach them these sorts of things. I'm always there for them. And how would you respond to that?
I would say that sometimes we think we know the answer to everything, but we don't. Sometimes we want people or even an animal just to listen. I shared secrets with my dog that I never shared with my parents. When I had a secret little crush in school, I wouldn't go around just, hey, dad. I would share with my dog. Like, my dog probably has seen every puberty level of me, has seen me cry, laugh, heard phone conversations. And it's just not everyone shares absolutely everything with their parent. And to know that you're giving your kid that form of responsibility. You don't want them always as well running back to their parents for everything. You want to enlist in your child that if something ever happened to them, that they're able to take care of themselves. So it's just if you want to enlist that quality in your child to be independent, sure thing. I'm almost 32 in a couple of weeks and I still need my mum and dad. It will never not need our parents. But you also want to hopefully raise your kid with the mindset that you can also be independent. Just it goes even beyond independent. It goes as well as to be caring, how to love something else other than yourself.
It's almost like seeing it as like an insurance policy of in case I'm not there or in case something happens and they don't trust me with it, here is an animal that you know you can trust and one that you can go to and that will always be there for you,
Yeah,
just in case.
exactly.
And all it takes is just putting that ego aside of understanding that I'm not always going to be there every single day, every single hour.
Yeah. And it brings the family together. Like when you go to the walk at parks, beach, holidays, like not just an animal. They literally become the home.
So, touching on the loss of Pickaboo, can you walk us through how that experience was from when you were genuinely thinking, this is possibly it?
Yeah, so I had a lot of those moments throughout the years, like I mentioned, but this time in February, I went overseas to Bali for work. And I was there for a week, and he was with my parents. My parents treat him like the king he is. And While I was there, I actually got hurt. So I hurt my foot really bad where I cut it. And I flew home. And the minute I landed, my mum and dad actually had to rush me to the ER. So I had to get stitches. And while I was there, my mum's like, "Oh, Peekaboo hasn't been feeling the best." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know he's, sick. We know that." She's like, "Yeah, but he's like really, really tired." And I'm just like, "Yeah, I know he's getting old." But I didn't think like it was the end of his life. I get home straight. So from the airport, I've rushed to the ER, gotten stitches. And then I get home and they open the door. And as he looks at me, he takes two steps and then he couldn't move. And then he would try to walk to me. Usually Peekaboo would bolt, and I always travel for work. So he would run to me, jump me, cry, and be so excited. We're both probably crying because we're excited. And this time he just would take a step and he couldn't anymore. Or he would really, really, really try to take a couple of steps, come up to me, lick me, and then like pant. I then grabbed him and put my hand, and I felt his heart was about to leave his chest. So I had an app on my phone from the hospital previously where we would have to constantly monitor his heart and count his beats and stuff. But this time, his heart was, I felt like it was literally going to stop any second. It was racing a million miles an hour. And I called the vet and I said, at this point, they couldn't give him any more meds. Like he was just really, really sick. And I was doing the medication every day and he hated it too. And it tasted probably gross because he would hate the taste. And I called the vet and they all knew him because he was the King of Paws. When I had called and said Peekaboo, they knew kind of as well that, and I knew as well talking to them, like, I think this is it. Like, he really is looking at me. He's trying to communicate, like I held on till you landed, till you got home, and I need to go within the next hour. He was passing away. I straight away grabbed the phone. I was hysterical. I rang my best friend who has been part of his life since he was two, my sister, and my other cousin. They all came. My sister drove me and Peekaboo to the hospital, to the vet. At this point, I've also stitched up. I've been given really strong medication, so I'm super dizzy. We get there, and I had to sit on the ground because we couldn't put him up on the table because he was just so sick. And the minute I would take a step back, he would lose it, like frantic. He would get like a adrenaline rush, like he would get all this power just to stay near me. So then I would sit on the floor and then he laid near me. They got him like a grazing board of ham and Nutella and cheese, like eat whatever you want. And his life was cheese. Like he lived and breathed cheese, which was so bad for his pancreatitis, for his cancer, but he loved cheese and he didn't want to bite of anything. Like he was just that sick, he couldn't do it. So then my cousin and best friend grabbed Nutella and put it on his lips, and she's like, just do it. Like we know you're sick, and he licked it, but he would save like his kisses for me. They gave him like an injection to relax him, so it's not like a shock. Then we lifted him up on the table. Everybody was around him. Everyone was touching him. My face was on him. I was literally bawling my eyes out, hysterical. I was apologizing. I'm like, I literally tried to do all that I can. And then it happened. And then they said, do you want to spend more time with him while he laid there? And I literally, at this point, just broke down. Like, I literally felt like I was, like, I had just lost my son. Like, that's how deep it was. And they took him and I did an emergency, like with the amazing Eden Hills, which is cremation. We did a 24-hour service. So within 24 hours, Peekaboo was returned home to me and he was cremated in a box. We've put all of his clothes, his favorite toys. I got a bit of him put in a crystal, which helps with anxiety, depression, and stress that I keep around my neck close to my heart. And he travels with me everywhere. I'm leaving tomorrow morning to Brisbane at 7 a.m. So his favorite place was always in the room with me. So he's sitting in my room next to his candles and he's got like a little shrine. And I still talk to him. I walk in, good morning, good night, I miss you. And then the morning stage began after all of that. And that was just a complete different thing than the whole when he got taken away, like put down. It's the in denial, then you get into the guilt. Like, did I felt like a murderer? Like, did I really just put him down? Did I give up on him? And you just start gaslighting yourself, and it's like, no, he really was sick. And then you would start hearing the whole, you gave him the best life, and people are coming with good intentions. But at this point, you're so, so down. Your routine is gone. You're so, so lonely. Someone that's been there, and in my case, has been my career, has been my home, the reason I'm still alive, everything taken from me. And so I'd wake up and I wouldn't know my purpose. Like, what am I going to do? I can't go to work and sell dog toys and play with dogs when mine has passed away. So then I packed up my bags the minute he got home and I went away for work for a conference for a week. And then my sister called me and she was like, you literally ran away from what's going on because my house didn't feel the same. Everyone's in mourning. I then get home and everyone's back into routine and they're trying to be back to normal. And everyone's life became normal, but mine wasn't normal because his food was still there, his bed was still there, his bowl is there, his medications are there. So until this day, and we're in May now, I still have Pickaboo steps in my room. I haven't gotten rid of them. Like, I don't know. As for his clothes and things, I packed them up. I picked a couple that have gone into his box with his ashes. And a lot of it I just took to work. We didn't sell it, but we donated it to customers. So we're seeing it living through other animals now. So we see families posting like, this is Peekaboo's bow, and like, oh, this is Peekaboo's outfit with the Dialla that he wore at a Christmas photo shoot, and we're planning Easter. Like, it became, he's brought a whole community, and the community for King of Paws were a family. Everyone was incredible. People were sending flowers and gifts because they all knew how important he was to me and to them. So then it got to a point where I really didn't know how to cope with it, Kevin. Like, I had no idea. No one would understand. So I went and found a pet counselor that specializes when you lose your pet online. And I did only one session, and it only took me one session to have someone just let me vent and listen to me without hearing the, he lived a good life, you did everything, you didn't murder him, relax. Like, she just let me vent and vent and vent. And I was crying with this stranger, like, I don't know her. And then at the end, she goes to me, and this is a really good advice I would literally love for everybody to hear is, she goes, you're never going to be okay with waking up one day and be like, oh, I'm happy he's gone. Or I'm over it. It's fine that he's passed away. She goes, you'll never get over it, but you'll have to try to learn to live through it. And that's what I'm doing. I'm living through it, and it's okay to grieve. She goes, if you're in the car driving and you want to have a cry, go for it. And then you're at work, and my day goes on about, I still mourn him. Just 2 days ago, I was crying in the shower. I'm like, I miss him so much. Like, it's so lonely. So you'll always get those moments, and for me, I thought it was like a sign of weakness or I did something wrong, but it's love. It's because they impacted you so much, and you're not just gonna ever be okay that someone passes away. But I will be okay that he's not in pain, his cancer's not spreading. That's what eases it, and what eases it is he's given me a bigger purpose now. He's made me realize that he brought everyone together, thousands of people, because of him. And until now, we all honor him. So we hold events, we're growing, we're an international brand, we're opening up multiple locations, all because of a 6 kilo dog named Peekaboo.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you say that he really made a huge impact on your life and just helped you become who you are. You meant
Yeah,
it.
he did.
It's. I was very curious about how much of an impact one animal could have on a person's life, and I'm
Yeah.
still a little bit shocked and just amazed at how much one relationship can take a person and just skyrocket, not just themselves but the community around them. When things did end and people were trying to console you and say, keep your chin up, things will be okay, you did the best you could.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had your best interest at heart. What would you say would be the biggest tip for anyone who was going through the loss of a pet? And how do you wish your friends or people around you had spoken to you?
Everybody around me, I think, did the best way they knew. Not everyone has grown up with a pet. No one would know the extent of the relationship. No one lives with anyone in the home to know how much of an impact it was. Like, so many people wouldn't know that I've slept an hour or two because of him for many years, because I would just be there counting his breath, counting his heart, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, go in hospital. So I think people really try to do the best as they could, as well as seeing someone that you love hurting. You would literally say anything to make them stop hurting, but sometimes that person really needs to grieve. And I think that's my biggest tip, is that it's okay. If you really need to cry, cry. You want to yell, yell. You need to get it out of you, because for 1 whole month after it, I didn't go to work. I didn't see anyone. I wasn't picking up calls. I wasn't messaging. I didn't post myself on social media. I literally was like, I don't want to go to work. I can't move on. Like, I can't do this. I don't know. I don't remember what my life is before him. And once again, people could probably be thinking, like, oh, but it's just a dog. Like, humans die every day. But he was my family. My parents have each other, they're married. My sister's married with her own family and children. So for me, he was my family. It was just me and him. There was no kids, no partner, no husband. So it was me and him, and he got taken. So then it was just me on my own. So then I didn't know what to do. And until now, some days, like I said, it hurts a lot every single day, and I'll never be over it. But I'll have to live through it and live through the grieving stage, that it's okay if I get upset. That upset is because I loved him. It's not because I did something wrong. So if anyone is grieving, it's totally okay. The feelings are totally, totally valid, so normal, so okay. And even if no one in this world understands them, I do, because I live it every day. And I'm just one person, probably out of billions of people in this world that are animal lovers, that would totally understand how much it hurts to lose a family pet.
It's so easy to dismiss somebody based off an animal. Not all the people will understand, like you said, how important that can mean
Yeah.
to a person. What would you say
Yes.
to anyone who is unsure whether or not they're doing the right thing or whether that's the right pet for them?
For sure. You can go into local pet stores and ask him. You can come into King of Paws and just ask us. We can teach you about products and different things to do with your animals. You can go and you can literally just Google, what does it take to take care of a dog or a cat? If you get a big dog, you need a big backyard. If you want a smaller dog, he can be in house. So, and there's things like puppy school as well. So, if they had already gotten the dog, there's puppy school that you can take your pet to, and it's over 10 weeks. It's affordable and teaches you the basic needs. Every week, you learn a new thing till your puppy graduates, as well as you. Same thing with cats. There's so much information out there, even local councils. If you call them, you can ask them about regulations in order, like having a cat at home or inside in the backyard. So there's definitely resources out there.
Is there something that you wish more pet owners knew? Because I'd imagine you hear dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of people sharing stories or concerns. But if there was like one thing that you would just wish, guys, come on, everyone, you all just need to understand this one thing, or I wish you all understood this one thing, what would it be?
Yeah. I just wish people, and I don't just say people, I wish everyone understood that the puppy stage isn't forever. And if you do decide to get a dog, not when they get sick or they get elderly or when things get hard, to just abandon them or leave them or sell them or just say you don't want them anymore. Because just like us, they have a soul. They feel, they hurt. And just like we feel and hurt, we're going to grow, they're going to grow too. It's just unfortunate that they don't live as long as us. Don't get me wrong, some dogs do outlive humans, but
Really?
in saying that, don't just think after the puppy stage, I don't want him anymore. Puppies and dogs have feelings, and you can't just get them for your own amusement and then throw them away once you're done. They are a lifetime commitment. You can't, it's like a child, you don't just foster or adopt and then say, I don't want you anymore because you've hit puberty. You're 13, you're a teenager now. It doesn't work like that. They are a responsibility, they do become part of the family. And if you do want to consider getting a pet, please think long and hard before you do so, because it will, if it could affect you, it could affect your kids, your family, your home, and the animal itself. It's not fair to them to just get them and then as they get older to say, I don't want to deal with you anymore.
And I suppose if down the track you do find that, oh, actually, this is quite a lot, you don't need to sort of survive. If you feel like it's really not a fit, maybe it's a good idea to find new pet owners that will love them for where they're at.
Yeah, and things happen. Don't get me wrong. There's owners that pass away, some that end up going to homes, hospitals, they had to move overseas. Just try find them a stable home as much as you can. There's people out there that are more than happy to adopt, foster. There's so many charities. Like we work with Hear No Evil, who are just regular people that donate their time, that foster dogs that are blind or deaf, or they're going to be put down and they take them in until they're rehomed. So there's so many services out there for this stuff. Please don't just get it because it's cute or you want to surprise your kid or partner for Christmas or their birthday. And then once it's up, you decide you don't want it. This happened with thousands and thousands of animals during COVID. Everybody was at home during lockdown. Everybody wanted an animal to keep them. And the minute lockdown opened up and got lifted, there were so many animals that the system couldn't even keep up with how many animals were being given away to them. That unfortunately so many animals got put down, and that's not fair. If you can't have them and basically raise it and take care of it, don't get it.
Yeah. How did you know that a dog was the animal that you wanted? Or that
I've been
specific?
begging for a dog since I was a little kid. Since I was a little kid. So, fun fact, my mum was terrified of Peekaboo that she didn't touch him for 3 years. And then after 3 years, my mum was obsessed with Peekaboo that she would touch him, feed him, play with him, do everything for him. So we had to get her over that phobia. So for my whole life as a childhood, it was there's no dog. I'm terrified. I would never go out and hang the washing. Like, what do you mean you want to get a dog? And then when we got him and she saw him and he was literally like as small as a Coke can, he was tiny, tiny at 6 weeks. He's as big as a Coke can or an iPhone, and she wouldn't go near him. She would scream like terrified. And then as he got older, she got so used to him that he was like an old man. He would just stare at her and walk off. Like, what are you yelling about?
Yeah. So, last question. With the loss of Pickaboo, I don't know that no one could ever, or any animal could ever replace Pickaboo, but would there
Yeah.
ever be another animal or dog that you'll be?
I think I get this question asked on a daily, multiple times. And I always say the same thing. I will not be getting another dog. And if I was to ever get another dog, it would never be the same breed. And it won't be until hopefully one day if I'm married and I've got children. and my children are at that age where they're around 7, 6, 7, and he grows up with them because I personally know how amazing having that pet alongside growing up with my kids will be. Will it hurt them one day that if something happened to him? Absolutely. But I can promise you they're going to have so much more better memories growing up with the dog.
I
They're going
love
to
how
have an, yeah,
I love how intentional you are with everything post Pickaboo. Like every single thing that you've shared, even years on into the future. Like, okay, how can I make Pickaboo's legacy live on and make everyone understand how much he meant to you? And it's
yeah,
like his journey, his life is living full circle onto your kids in the future.
100%.
And I
Yeah.
absolutely love that idea.
Like, I will never, ever, ever forget him because he built my career. He was there during high school, uni, adulthood, and he made it just under 15, and I made it just under 32 in each other's lives. So it was, he was the best part of my life, and he still is. Like, every single day he's mentioned, every single day I speak to him, every single day people talk about him. Sometimes I forget that he's gone only until I return home because everyone still talks like he's still around. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your story and your tips and just everything that you've shared on this podcast. I have this little tradition. It's truth or challenge, where the previous
Yes.
guest has left behind a question or a task for the next person to do. I'm going to ask you. It's
Ooh.
essentially truth or dare. Think of it like that.
Yeah.
So,
I love that stuff.
truth or challenge?
I'm gonna go with truth only because I'm catching a plane at 7 a.m. tomorrow and I'm a bit nervous of the challenge if I can't complete it. And I'm the type that if someone dares me, I have to do it. So let's go with truth.
That's very valid. What's one habit or trait that you know is holding you back, but you keep doing anyway?
Um, One habit, imposter syndrome. I sometimes think with myself, like, oh, but who is she to be doing that? Like, calm down, Dialla. And it's like, no, you've earned it, you've worked for it, it's totally okay for you to do it.
Well, we've reached the end of our time. I'm so excited for people to hear this because it's amazing. Thank you so much for your
Oh,
time.